What's up, my handsomes? Jakube-K back again. Guess what we're doing today? If you guessed, we're going to be beating down randoms with my Murdochs. Am I in Apex? Unfortunately, you'll be wrong. We're back to the tier maker for the 50 millionth time in a row. Guess what we're doing today? We're going to be ranking some perks. This is quite decent for people who want to improve at the game, I guess. So content like this isn't particularly garbage. It might not be too interesting for some of the people who watch me, but regardless, I'll do it. So better watch it. Who cares? So over here, we got some perks. We got all the perks in the game. I'm just going to go over them, put them in these tiers. There's not as many as we had last time, so I did like a weapon tier list, which was like an hour long. That was quite good. If you want to watch that, it's somewhere back like a month ago. I guess you can do that. Today's we're gonna do these a bit less of them, so this might not actually be that long. But I guess anyway, to not waste time, let's go. If you enjoy the content, tell me. If you want more, tell me. If you don't, then click off the video, watch some other shit, because this is not the only thing I make. Let's go. Awareness. Cool thing about awareness, it's one of the only perks which might be worse to have on than not have it on, if you know what I mean. It doesn't work the same way you would expect it to work in multiplayer or in other Call of Duties. The issue with awareness is not particularly that the perk is garbage. The issue with this is the perk is sorry, my bad. The issue with this is that the sound engine in this game is so shit to the point where awareness basically becomes a liability in some cases. In some cases it's okay. In many cases though, it's quite shit. Let's say you're playing in Cell House, right? You want to hear some kid footsteps, right? When you pop awareness, you're gonna hear some guy in fucking Narnia who's literally over in docks when you're in Cell House. Like, what? How are you gonna hear that motherfucker's footsteps there? Like, what the hell? What is that? And in other times, some dude pops dead silence, pulls up behind you, the awareness still retarded, doesn't work. So this perk is just like one of the most autistic ass perks I've ever seen in my life, like on guard. We'll put it in decent. There are some good parts about this. First of all, obviously you can hear footsteps better. Because the engine, it's not that great, but you can hear footsteps, so it's quite nice. Bloody Tracker, very underrated perk in my opinion. Most people who play Big Map, which used to be me, they don't even know this exists because it's only in limited time modes. So in here and like Heavy Metal Heroes, and no Heavy Metal Heroes, that's a different realm of Sim Apex. On God, I fear that. On God, I wouldn't take my Murdochs there. I'll get my ass beat down. But Bloody Tracker is quite good. This is decently, I think, if you're trying to go for 30s and you avoid this, yeah, that's a bit of a dumb idea, I ain't gonna lie. This perk overall is a positive, especially in the game where you cannot hear any footsteps, even if you have awareness. At least this time you can hear some footsteps. In my opinion, quite a legendary perk. There are better than this, of course, but as a tracking perk, it's one of the best ones. The tracking perks on this game, there's not many of them. You have awareness, which is shit, Paranoia, which is shit, and I think other than that, there's no other tracking perks. This is definitely the best tracking perk you can have. Unfortunately, in this game, they all are the same color. I kind of wish that Treyarch changed tracking perks and movement perks to different colors so it'd be easier to see what's what, but this is what it is. Brawler. Now, our Brawler, he's gonna chow me with Maddox and Zim Apex because he's just he's a Brawler god in Heavy Metal Heroes. He be beating people down with this. But yeah, so do I. I beat people down with this. This perk is magnificently amazing. Everyone knew this. This is why I feared to play Alcatraz in 2019 and 2020. I would pull up and just get my ass brawlered by 4 motherfuckers, like when I was grinding paint cans. So for a lot of people who don't know my history, like I'm not an Alcatraz player, I'm not a Blackout player. I'm an MP League kid who went over here to grind my account and then I stayed. But before that I was here and I was just getting my ass beat down by brawlers. So as you can see, I mean, this can traumatize you for the rest of your life if you can't really deal with it. You might need to go to therapy after you get Brawler. Heals you, makes everyone basically get punched for free. Sometimes it's a bit annoying when they have trauma kits, but in most cases just shot punch, no problem. So just for that, you can basically push your momentum with this amazingly well because you don't have to rely on healing anymore, manual healing. You can just keep killing grinders, punching their dead bodies, getting free health. It's an absolute beastly perk. It's very good in combination with other perks, but by itself, it's not actually that good, although it's still definitely in the divine tier. You want to combine this with like Consumer Dead Silence, Mobility, even Bloody Tracker. You want to have as much shit to support this perk as possible. The more external perks you have with this, the better. If you just have a Brawler, it's a bit limiting. So Brawler has a wide range of capabilities. With most of these, it's just a perk in it. But with Brawler, it's actually quite a wide range of how good it can become. Let's go over to Consumer. There's one very good thing about Consumer, which all of these perks don't have, as I remember. Consumer lasts ages. Just for 2 consumers, just 2, you can go through the whole entire game and never have to pick up like any other perk. You're going to be fine for the rest of your life. And just for that, think about that, you'll just be like, wow, that's crazy. Next, you have a similar effect to Brawler, so it's a good supplement for Brawler because you can use your healing much faster. If you have trauma kits, this is a must-have. So my trauma kit meta in solo squad, the way I use it is I keep my trauma kits rather than use them for 50 extra HP, because trauma kits have the special effect of healing you from 0 to hero, 0 to 200 if you wanted to. The Consumer helps with that, makes it basically viable to an extent. So a lot of the methods that are used with healing and healing strats do require Consumer to be more effective. Other than that though, Consumer is just quite a flat perk. It will, in my opinion, bring your capabilities up to a very high extent. Let's say you're just using like all of these perks just by themselves, isolated. Consumer will make you go from just being some shitter with a strife and bandages to actually really good, similar to how Brawler and mobility work. So in my opinion, I'm actually trying to think if this is legendary or divine. I think we'll put it in divine tier, or if someone else might disagree, they would put it in legendary top tier here. That's silence. Most people might think this perk is really amazing. Now big map, this perk is legendary. I think if you were ranking this on big map, no problem, you put it on divine. The issue about Alcatraz is a very close quarter map, and that means sensors are more prevalent, and most of the time it's buildings. It's not like open ground, so people hide anyway, to the point where that silence doesn't have, it gets nerfed simply by the surrounding areas and the map limitations. It doesn't get nerfed badly, it's still a very good perk, but it does not account to the same sort of amazingness as it would on big map 100%. This perk is really good, 100%. You can't deny that this perk is good. It has an interesting union with Skulker, because Skulker has the same effect but in a different way. It's basically a dead silence while you're on your ass, while this one is dead silence while you're sprinting. I don't really know which one I prefer, but the one issue with that silence, regardless, is this perk doesn't last for long. So you basically, you find a lot of it because it comes from zombies. That is the benefit. So there is way more dead silences than any other perk in the map, because of obviously you can just kill zombies and get it, but it doesn't last at all at length. So for the effect that you get, it's a good effect, 100%, but for the time period, not too certain about that one. I would probably have to put this somewhere here. There is another nerf to that silence which most people don't know. I might have to do like a shorts video or a cool fact about Blackout Sword video. Mobility and dead silence. There is 2 phantom effects of both of these, and that comes from armor. When you have no armor, you have phantom dead silence and phantom mobility. And what I mean by phantom dead silence, phantom mobility, you have like a B-Tech version of these, like a really shit version of mobility and a pretty okay sort of version of dead silence if you don't wear armor. The issue with that is, guess what? 90% of people playing Alcatraz have no armor. So already just by itself, most people who spawn in have the B-Tech dead silence effect. The mobility effect is not that important because they only have a movement boost that's very small and not very great, whereas mobility like enhanced that crazily. But the dead silence part is quite similar, resembling to an actual dead silence. So overall, because of that, this perk gets nerfed by circumstance in my opinion. Engineer. This perk is actually really good, I think. Most people don't pick up perks, so they don't really test out what perks are capable of. For me and my playstyle, I'm very perk heavy. I don't like equipment. I always take perks. It's part of the solo squad meta that I use, that I implement. Both in the vacuum and blitzkrieg doctrines I play, perks are a pivotal structure within that. They are the backbone of supply. Engineer is one of those things that will basically make your life easier. What all these perks do is they give you opportunities and they give you a different perspective or information or whatever, etc. Engineer is one of those perks which do give you quite a very good amount of information. by seeing barricades, first of all, you know, you basically get infinite information by seeing equipment and barricades. You know where people are camping, you know where to push if you want to find people. You can see if people have sensor darts. You can find sensor darts, saves you time, makes you more safer. Any quality of life idea engineer can actually quite well fix, to be quite honest with you. Just by that, I think we'll put it in quite a... I'm not sure if we'll put it in legendary tier particular, but we'll definitely put it in good. The only issue of engineer, it's very much an information perk exclusively. It's only an information perk. A lot of these perks here, actually all of these perks, are perks which enhance your capabilities basically, or sometimes capabilities and information. Here, capabilities wise, yeah, not really, not that interesting there. However, one thing that's good, at least it's not as bad as Iron Lungs. I mean, everyone already knows it's going to be ass, so why would I even try and like act like it's not going to be ass? This thing is dog shit. Imagine having a perk which makes you breathe underwater when the whole map is literally not underwater. Like what? There is only one predicament where this perk is very good, and that's if you have a south side zone that pushes ultra south and goes into the water down there. The only issue is, the only time you would want to be ultra south plus more south into the water is if you're a fucking bot. Like if you're actually shit at the game. Because me, you know what I'm doing? I'm on that shipwreck beating people down on my Zim Apex, my Mudox. Why would I want to be in the water like some fish? Like I'm trying to find Nemo or something. Like what the fuck? Who the fuck do you think I am, bro? Have I been grinding this game for 6 years just to go into the water and find Nemo? Oh, look at me with my strife. Fucking can't even move because the water is just making me stuck like it's like some pile of cum. Anyway, yeah, but you already know, you get the gist of it. There is a second effect of this, which is if you have snipers, you can breathe down longer. I don't really think anyone gives a shit. Snipers are utterly garbage in Alcatraz. This is very much a big map perk. It was here ever since the beta. I don't believe it ever got a buff, which is weird. I know Brawler got a buff because Brawler used to be shit in the beta. This kind of got left in the dust, unfortunately. So I guess we're gonna keep it that way. If I were to ever buff this, if there was a Alcatraz 2 or whatever that came out, there is one thing that would buff this, and it would be make Iron Lungs, take away your visual recoil or whatever it's called. Not visual recoil. When people shoot you, you get the kick bounce bullshit. I can't remember what it's called, but there used to be a perk called Toughness that could go well with Iron Lungs. Unfortunately, that's in my dreams. That's never going to happen. Rest in peace. Looter, anyway. This, very good perk, in my opinion, is a perk to find perks. What an interesting scenario. It's like an infinite money glitch, but in Blackout. I say, pretty decent, I ain't gonna lie. You pick it up in the early game, doesn't last too long, same duration as Dead Silence, but you don't really need it to last long. The whole point of Looter is you use it for a bit, find really good loot, and it pops out of your inventory, which is good that it pops out because you can then find more loot and replace it. So that's why Looter is quite nice with the less time period. In my opinion, less time period works really good for Looter. If it was longer, it would be kind of pointless. Dead Silence, you want more time. Here, you don't really need that time. So that's actually a benefit with this perk. Other than that, I don't really think there's anything particularly interesting to say about this perk. There is one stupid thing about this perk. It doesn't show you blackjacks. Unfortunately, blackjacks are not shown as items, but that's fine. That's not really an issue because everyone has the same effect. Not a problem. And I think we'll put it like in a... I think we'll put it quite in a legendary tier, because the effect of this perk is you find better supply, which will be the perks which are up here. Now it's definitely better than, like, these are probably going to be better off for you in the long term. But if you find this early game, even if you find it late game, if you just died and redeployed and have no loot, Looter is just a perk which can't hurt you in any way. It's definitely worth the one slot in your inventory. Medic, well, I'm not very good to ask about this perk particularly because everyone knows my team is my Zim Apex, my Mudox, and Air. So I don't really need to revive those guys. They never die. I mean, they just be beaming and shit. So what can I say? But, you know, I can... Oh, I think I spelt this wrong. Oh, no, I didn't. So what can I say about Medic? Medic's very good. Both if you're trying to revive your teammates and if you're getting revived. Some people might have this selfish mindset where it's counterintuitive to pop Medic because it doesn't help you. It only helps your team. That's a wrong mindset. Your team is free body bags that people can shoot at and not shoot at you, and you can shoot them while they're shooting your body bags and get free kills. That's what I do when I play squad. You can do the same thing, get easy 30s. Trust me, you're gonna be drowning in 30s when you implement some gay tactics like that. You need medic, you need your team up, and you need them to be taking bullets for you. So I'd say it's pretty good. I think, and it's overall, if you're playing solo squad, obviously it would be something like down here, but we're talking about main, and most people play main. I'm like the only solo squad player in this whole entire game. So we'll put it up here. It's better than engineer in my opinion. The strength for this is insanely good. Instead of reviving your teammate with like 30 HP, you revive them with 125. They need to pop one bandage, they're back into the game, and it takes like 3 times. It's like 3 times the revive speed. Really awesome perk. Definitely underrated by people. I don't think it's as useful as these, but definitely a good one. Very strong buff. Nice, good perk. Mobility makes you sprint like 30% or 40% more speed. Don't know the exact amount. Makes you slide insanely crazy, like double the slides. Everyone's already gonna know where this goes. It's Divine Tier, you already know. The reason this is better than Brawler, it's more flat and consistent. So a lot of times, in my opinion, the way I look at what's valuable and what's not in Alcatraz is the consistency and reliability of items. Mobility is one of the most consistent and reliable perks within the game. Doesn't matter where you're playing, it will assist you. Something like Brawler, where it's a melee designed perk, if you're out in the open, guess what? That shit becomes useless. Mobility, you're out in the open, you're out in close quarters, everything has a point for mobility. If someone is like, okay, well, how are you going to use mobility in close quarters? Let me explain something to you how that would work, just as a small little example. Let's say I'm in an infirmary, someone's shooting down the main corridor, I want to push him, but how am I going to do that? He's just beaming me. Well, guess what? Mobility will allow me to run past into the left or right doorway faster and cut off the angle that he has. So it's good for cutting off angles in close quarters engagements. That's why you want it, even though like it's counterintuitive. You would think it's counterintuitive for being faster in close quarters because it's already close quarters, but being that extra bit faster allows you to cut off angles that are important to cut off. Brawler, if you have the opposite, is very good in close quarters. So is this. This is also good in not close quarters, but this ain't so good in not so close quarters because you can't punch people across the map. Quite unfortunate, but it is what it is. The issue of mobility that I'll have to comment on, even though it's a consistent perk, it will get outdone by some other perks in certain situations. So for example, Brawler in many cases will outdo mobility. It is a much more stronger perk in close quarters than mobility, but I simply like consistency. I think consistency and reliability is king. Over to Paranoia. Now this perk is an interesting perk because same reason how awareness works, this perk can be a detriment rather than a positive. One interesting thing about Paranoia is one of the only perks which gets impacted by ping. If you're playing on, the higher your ping is, the worse this perk becomes, and in a lot of cases, at some point around like 170, 190 perk, 190 ping, sorry, this perk basically becomes ass. Like I wouldn't even bother with it. It's nice in your inventory. It's not like a not exactly detrimental to your existence, particularly like awareness, so it won't like hurt you. The issue is its usefulness is very questionable, especially when the whole map is angles that get cut off really fast. If you're in Cell House, even if you get a Paranoia ping, your angle will get cut in the next like 3 seconds because you're just running around everywhere. So it's not that important. And let's say you do stand still. Well, if you stand still, usually you're gonna either get beat down in the ass faster than the Paranoia will ping, or you're gonna have someone in front of you, so obviously you can have eyes, you're gonna see them. There is some situations where this is very good. What's the side that I'm talking about right now? West side of Cell House. Pretty good to have Paranoia there. It basically tells you if there's people camping in like rocks and shit you can't really see. So that's decent. Same with full south side zones, like ultra south. That's good there as well. But in many cases, it's kind of like a little bonus touch. Not entirely ass. It's decent, and it's not as bad as awareness because awareness actually can harm you. But it's questionably, and I don't really know how useful it is. I would possibly say, by some interpretations, some people might put engineer below it and put Paranoia above engineer. Depends really who you ask. I play solo squad and I play on Alcatraz. Paranoia is a very much a big map sort of perk. When I used to play in the beta, I used to love Paranoia. Paranoia was awesome. But, well, this ain't the beta anymore. I'm an Alcatraz grinder now for the rest of my life, enchained in suffering. So yeah, Paranoia is kind of not that useful for me. Reinforced. Very hard to argue that this perk is garbage. And in many cases, I've actually choked games like a fucking idiot because I didn't pick up a reinforced, then got my ass beat down, like mega beat. No, I got dicked down. Not even a beat down, like a dick, like it was thorough when I didn't pick up reinforced, and it was in rest in peace. So it's always good to have this this perk, then not have this perk. But the usefulness of it, yeah, it's quite good. Depends really what you're comparing it to. I think it's quite a legendary perk, to be quite honest with you. I think we'll take it above Looter because it does help you more. It does last more than Dead Silence, so it's kind of difficult to say where I would place this particularly. I think we might actually put it above Dead Silence. In many cases, I would rather not have to worry about war machines, which this will nullify completely. Stuns, random ass sparrows one-shotting me on the ground. It's just a quality of life perk. Takes off all the bullshit in most of the bullshit in the game. Tomahawks, rest in peace, still no counter to that. But this will basically help you deal with like random shit. Oh, and barricades. The amount of progression you can do in the game is more amazing. People can't just like dick your ass down from having random bullshit. You can just keep pushing crackheads. Like, you are a crackhead basically with this shit. Like, you just endure. Like, it doesn't matter if they try and shove their dick up your ass. Like, you're gonna enjoy that shit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, like that. Like, anyway, school car. This is for like snakes, like some weirdos, bro. If we just like school car around the whole entire map for no reason, we might make a pyramid. Who knows? I kind of wish we could, but this is not gonna go there. Wait. Okay, maybe. Can we make a pyramid? Let's see. Teamlink. We'll do Teamlink first. So maybe I think maybe we could make a pyramid. Teamlink over here, quite a good perk. Very underrated in my opinion. The amount of information this gives you, even though most people will think, what's the point of me seeing my teammates? I can see them on the minimap. Knowing where they are vertically and also where they're facing will automatically tell you where the enemies are. Imagine like you're in a maths equation and you're like 2 plus x is my penis. Well, obviously, the worth of x is 2 negative my penis. So you can work out x just from the context. This is the same way Teamlink works. Like, you can work out shit just with your brain. Obviously, people are brainless in this game, so it might be a bit more difficult for some grinders to achieve that shit, because I know they haven't passed their GCSEs and that, but they just be unemployed grinding this game for the last 6 years. But for me, not a problem. I like Teamlink. Depends really where you're trying to put it. If you're looking at it here, it might be somewhere above decent. I kind of really want to put it in good to make a pyramid. We'll put it in here anyway, just so we can have a nice slant of my, like how I slide with my Sim Apex, like smooth like that. But I think realistically, low-key speaking, it's somewhere down here. It's very difficult to tell if it's better than Paranoia or not. I think quality of life, difficult to say. On guard is difficult to say. Paranoia is quite a shit perk. On Alcatraz specifically, I would say Teamlink might beat over Paranoia if you're playing squad. Obviously, I play in solo, so this is ass for me, personally, same as Medic. But if you're playing in squad, quite a decent perk. Now, it's not something you should prioritize. Like, if I see this on the floor, I ain't really gonna pop this shit particularly a lot. And in most cases, I will prioritize Paranoia, but for the average people in the game, I think Teamlink would simply be better. This is all ass perks anyway. This is all on the low tier, so you shouldn't really be worrying about these perks anyway. It doesn't matter particularly. Either one you pick up, like, it's not gonna change your life. Skulker, this is for like all the snakes and weirdos who just like walk on their ass. Like, they're literally like, you know, like on the kindergarten when people like used to just like roam around the floor on their ass instead of the actual like legs, because they're just like retarded. Like, that's them, but when they're older, just grinding with school car, just like walking around for no reason. But I mean, it's kind of good. It makes you have no footstep audio, which is dope. And the main effect of school car, which is really awesome, it gives you a stock effect if you aim in. You can actually go side to side as if you have like stock or stock 2 from, I'm talking about multiplayer stuff, by the way, for all the Blackout grinders. This isn't an effect that can be done from any other thing in Blackout, exclusively Skulker does that. So you can have like a stock effect, which is quite good. It's also better than multiplayer Skulker, which most people might not understand. This is like a buffed version of Skulker in multiplayer, very buffed. Overall, I would probably say definitely somewhere up here on guard. I would possibly put it above Bloody Tracker, on the top of Legendary. I don't think it's possible to really say it's like all the way up here, because to play on your ass the whole game, I simply don't understand why you'd want to play on your ass the whole game. I mean, if that's how you want to roll, I mean, that's cool. Like, I'm fine with that, no problem. But that just ain't me, man. Like, I ego chow. I don't do this gay shit like that. So I'm gonna put it here. I don't think it, for me, it wouldn't. Oh, what the fuck is this? Oh, I forgot to do Outlander. What the fuck? Let me put that shit down. yeah, that probably pissed some people off, ain't gonna lie. We'll do that one last. So yeah, we'll do Skulker. So I think Skulker is here. Makes you faster on your knees, on your ass, harder to hit, gives you stock to effect, and no footsteps. You can Skulker around everywhere. I think it's mostly a positive. Just messes with your flow sometimes. A good effect of this as well for people who are actually good at the game, but most people aren't, so they don't really know about this. If you want to snake, most people don't know how to do it, and even if they do it like shitters, so I might have to do a video to educate people on how to do that. Snaking with Skulker, very OP, very OP. There may be a meta one day designed specifically around Skulker snaking that might be manufactured, although on paper I don't think it's possible to make it entirely amazing, but maybe, we'll see, maybe in the future. Anyway, I forgot to do Outlander because I'm an idiot. I kind of skipped over and went to Paranoia instead. Outlander, as I mentioned before, you run faster in the zone, just like mobility, you take less damage from the zone. Late game is very good, especially if you're playing against like submarine campers. Overall, nice. It's a very late game perk though, it doesn't really benefit you in the early game. It can't. For 40% of the lobby time that you're in Alcatraz, the zone hasn't even come in from the ocean. So this perk, for 40% of the game, won't give you shit. Late game, pretty decent though, I ain't gonna lie. So it's not exactly anything horribly bad. I would say having this late game is better than not having a late game. The good plays you can make with this, quite nice. Some mid games as well, you can farm in the zone. This will help you as well. It's overall a positive force. And if you are playing in the zone, this thing is OP as shit, especially if you stack it with mobility. You become Usain Bolt. Ain't nobody catching you, bro. That shit, you're literally going to be the Flash on guard. So I would say it's quite a good perk. I would possibly put it around engineer level. Really depends. Are you a weirdo in the zone, or are you a guy who just like plays not in the zone? I'm thinking about if this is better or worse. I mean, I'm not particularly certain. I would think my mind is going retarded, you know, I've been grinding too much, I can't think with my head. I think we'll put it like this. Engineer, more information. But yeah, that's it for the list. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more content, tell me. I might make a very interesting and naughty list. Very naughty. Santa Claus ain't gonna give me my Zim Matrix this Christmas if I make this list. I might make a list about top best Alcatraz players of all time in here. Well, not of all time, because most of them are dead. Like, they're all ass. Most of the guys who are here a long time, that they're garbage, they're bots. But the people who are still alive, I'll put them on a list and we'll rank them. It will piss people off and they will mobilize their whole armies against me. They will send people in my chat and in my streams to try and like beat my ass down. But like, realistically, they ain't gonna meet my Maddox at the range, so not really an issue. But yeah, I might make that down if people really want to see that. If not, then watch something else that I actually upload that's good, and I'll see you around. Vive la Gloire de BO4, and au revoir.